Yeah, it's
probably. Yeah,
it's going to be ugly when you play the Yankees. Although the Yankees hate playing there so much that it almost doesn't matter because it gets in their heads. So I'm fine with that.
Yeah, we had a winning record against them last year there, I think.
Yeah, because they kept bitching about how the pitchers couldn't see the signs, and it's just like, so is it the pitcher's fault or is it the fact that Gary Sanchez is just a terrible catcher? You know what I mean? Like, is it that you can't see the signs, or is it that Gary Sanchez just doesn't know how to call a game?
He's their backup now, right?
I'm pretty sure that Cal Higashioka has taken over for them. Every once in a while, though, Gary Sanchez still hits a dinger. Actually, let's see how Gary Sanchez is doing this year, because I just still don't think it's very good.
Yeah, I think it's almost an even split at this point.
Let's pull this up. Gary Sanchez is hitting a whopping 186 with a 314 on base. 677 OPS, but he has 5 dingers, so it's basically only dingers. I mean, it's better than his 147 average last year and his 253 on base.
Yeah. Well, their pitching is really on a roll right now. Pretty much everyone they're throwing out there is lights out.
Yeah. I don't know what it is. It feels like Montgomery, when he pitches at home, no matter who it's against, he pitches well. But when it's on the road, it's just the opposite. He has nights where he looks like one of the best pitchers in baseball, and then he has other nights where he can't get out of the second inning. You know what I mean? Like, as a Yankees fan, he must be infuriating.
Yeah, Kluber throwing like
a fucking no-hitter
already.
No one cares. Though.
Against another trash.
Doesn't really count anymore.
That's a second on the Rangers this year.
Yeah, well, that's exactly. Well, the Rangers have allowed 2, the Indians have allowed 2, and the Mariners have allowed 2. So.
No, I think it's Mariners 1.
The 6 total. 6
Mariners
total.
2.
So it's 2 each.
Bumgarner 1 doesn't count.
It should be 7. And the funny thing is, the big league record for no hitters in a season is 7.
Yeah, very interesting.
They're definitely not doing anything to the baseball as these pitchers.
No, not at all.
But
not the pitchers. The baseball was, they juiced the ball, and there's a whole lot of other stuff. But
we should just kind of get to the, back to the Jays. And are we concerned now with how this division is starting to take off, and we're kind of spinning our tires here? And it feels like this is a huge week.
Yeah, I mean, I still don't have faith in Nick Pivetta and Garrett Richards, and you know what I mean, the bodies that the Red Sox throw out there. The Rays we always talk about as being good, and they have the Jays numbers, but really the Jays, think about what they had to do to lose this series. You know what I mean? Like, the Jays are at the worst case scenario. Like, they've been hurt since day one, and it's just gotten worse, and they're still above 500. Like, this is a doom and gloom week because they literally lost today in the ugliest fashion possible, and they've lost in some disgusting ways this week. But overall, you're still looking at this team of that's like the 17th guy that guy was supposed to be at AAA. You know what I mean? Some of these guys are non-roster invitees that weren't supposed to be on the team. So it's kind of where we're at with
it. It's a tough thing where it's like, have they kind of overachieved to this point?
Oh, they 100% overachieved. But now you're hoping that, as they start to fade, you get back a Merriweather. You get back a Hatch into the starting rotation, which could maybe push Stripling into the – you start to get guys back. That means that all the guys that overperformed, you're not even leaning on them anymore. They're either in lower leverage roles or, honest to God, we've talked about this, that they have a 40-man crunch. There's a bunch of these guys are getting waived. A bunch of these guys are getting DFA'd because they just don't have the room when guys come off the 60-man. So I'm not super worried, again, because I look at the Red Sox and I'm like, I don't think that's sustainable. I look at the Rays and I'm like, I don't know what you are other than a bunch of just fucking, do you know what I mean? Smoke and mirrors.
They trade away pieces and get better. It's unbelievable.
Yeah, but can they hit? Let's be honest. Can the Rays hit?
We always ask that question, though.
Yeah, but normally you can look at guys and you're like, well, will you? You can look at guys, and this year it's like Joey Wendell, and he only plays against righties because he's a lefty.
Has been okay.
He's been fine, but he hasn't hit for any power.
Great week. He had an amazing week last week.
Yeah, but he hasn't. The power hasn't been there when he was tearing it up in the postseason last year.
G-Man Choi,
Meadows,
who just came back. G-Man Choi he's hitting 500, but he's 7 for 14. Meadows is the only other guy that I say you can consistently look at and be like, that's the guy that you should expect to be that good consistently.
Well, if they get grand slams from Mejia, then they're fine.
Well, that's another guy though that you expect that from him, right? Like the problem is when they call up Wander Franco and they stop fucking around with this Wall guy and they don't call up Brujan. That's another guy. Well, he's been on their 40, so he's probably coming up before Franco.
Yeah.
But eventually, when they finally just give Wander Franco his run, that's when it's going to get scary because Wander Franco, like, for Jays fans, like, this is the Rays version of Vladdy coming up. This is their Fernando Tatis Jr. This is the guy that could be. It's not like here's a top prospect. It's like here's the best prospect in all of baseball. It's not really close, and this guy's like a game changer. So that's where it gets scary for the Rays if he comes up and lives up to the hype, because then that team starts to get scary because the way that they mix and match and just make it work. If you have another dude who's just a monster in the middle of that order, like now Tampa becomes dangerous.
Like, we knew what we were signing up for this year. We knew the AL East was going to be difficult, and right now we're seeing that.
Well, we kind of figured that the Rays and Red Sox would be on our level at this point, and then we'd be paddling with them. Now it feels like, okay, this Rays team is skyrocketing with, that asset and coming up, and we are getting hurt. It feels like we're getting more and more hurt every day.
Well, you just got to hope that they can tread water until the bodies come back. Everything goes to where it's supposed to be. And then you're looking at the Rays and the Red Sox and you're like, no, we're better than them. We're deeper at every position, right? Like in the bullpen, in the starting rotation. Like, that's just the issue you're staring at with this Jays team. It's just now the injuries have just gone beyond the pale because, you know what I mean? When now you're also losing the random guys in the bullpen that were producing, it's just at some point you were going to call up somebody who wasn't going to work. You know what I mean? At some point you were going to run out of magic. And that's kind of what happened this week. And it sucked. I'm trying to be positive and look at the bigger picture, but like this week fucking sucked.
A few different bounces, we could have been really happy. Could have been like, yeah.
Right? Well, here's the thing.
We're sick.
Dolis doesn't give up that dinger to JD Martinez. There's a win, and you win today, and you're looking at this week, and you're like, actually, you went 500. It ain't that bad, right? Like you were right there. Now, again, then there's also like the extra inning game where you're bunting with 2 strikes, and maybe you're even over 500 if Charlie Montoya is not a fucking idiot, but. This is where we are now, boys.
We got to look ahead. We got to stay positive.
Exactly. No, that is exactly it. You have to look ahead.
The Jays are going to turn around. The Leafs are going to win the Stanley Cup. Everything's going to start turning around in Toronto.
Hey, Phil Mickelson just won a major. Anything is possible.
Unbelievable.